Oh, hello. That's right, sucker. Oh, we're playing the Destiny 2 now. And it looks like all my anti-aliasing is off, honestly, because this looks like complete shit. Okay, here we go. I've put way more time into my PS4 account. It's definitely a rare. Visited with the island. Assemble your team and go fuck yourself. Okay, yeah, sure. Season 1 ending soon. Okay. Open the settings. I gotta make sure I go in, disable some shit. So, why? We'll say that should be okay. That should be fine. We'll say not muted so that it's not just fucking dead silence all the time. Obviously, oh, good God. Why is my resolution so low? Apply those changes immediately. Thank you. No wonder it looked like crap. Everything else should be, oh my. It's just set to like low at its lowest. Just, here we go. There. Now we look significantly less shitty. Alright, so if you're wondering why I'm doing this video, so that I may, one, progress this character a little bit so that I can, what am I doing here? Apparently I got some engrams. I'm not really worried about it. Progress this character a little bit and also talk about something that is, where, give me a second. It's hard to think about where I left off. Did I beat the game? Did I beat it already? Conquer the story? Kill the main bad guy? I think I did. Oh yeah, obviously, duh. I can go to the fucking tower, so yeah. Okay, so I'll go derp around the tower for a sec while I get my thoughts together. So, this video is to talk about Destiny 2, specifically why it is so underwhelming compared to the first game. So, it's easy to criticize Destiny 2 as a game that learned nothing from Destiny 1. So, but one has to come up with one has to really think about why it did so poorly to capitalize on the lessons of Destiny 1. So, let's give a brief history for those of you that are not familiar with the story or who joined only in Destiny 2 if you're a PC gamer like I'm playing right now. Some sweet 60 frames. So Destiny 1, one of the most hyped games ever because Bungie released to mixed reviews, mostly negative, I would say. I think the general consensus was that it was a pretty mediocre game, but yet it held a pretty substantial fan base, at least large enough, I'm not going to give those, at least a large enough fan base to keep the game sustained. So, for those of you who don't know, or those of you that are kindergartens who just joined or something like that, Destiny 1 month 1 sucked so hard. It sucked to get gear. It sucked to get legendaries. Getting an exotic was a fucking event. Dude, when I got my first last word, it was a random Crucible match victory. I lost my fucking mind. I wish I was recording or something at the time. I would have loved to show that genuine joy I felt. So Destiny, but I played it. I played the shit out of it. I played the shit out of the first Destiny on multiple platforms. So, oh jeez. So, it was good enough to hold players that were into that kind of game, even if the plot was virtually non-existent. So, Destiny 1 concludes. Now, I'll just take the stairs. Destiny 1 concludes development. Goes gold. Destiny 2 starts immediately because if you look at the contract, Bungie has to get a game out in X amount of years and will take penalties, presumably, for releasing a game late. So the game releases, Destiny 1 releases, it goes gold. It's not even released yet. Work on Destiny 2 is already started by some members of Bungie, I assume, at this point. And development of Destiny 2 begins full scale when Destiny 1 releases, presumably, around about that time. Okay, let's see. Beat the Nightfall, that's cool. Get some stuff. Sweet, awesome. Crucible, alright. So, the game releases to mediocre reception. Is criticized pretty heavily for various honestly justified things. such as garbage RNG, the double RNG wall to get gear, etc., whatever it goes on. Well, Destiny 2's development had already begun before that backlash even started. Now, it would be pretty early in the game, but think about it this way. Because of the backlash concerning a lot of Destiny 1's gameplay at this time, the first thing they would have thought of was, oh shit, this isn't working. We need to change a lot of completely alter how we thought we were going to develop this game, and fix all of its gameplay issues, so on and so forth, by basically outright removing a lot of things. Like, people complained a lot about the RNG, so they were like, you know what, let's do away with randomly rolled weapons, and we'll just say there's a pool of weapons that never changes. You can collect the same weapon a million times. It'll have the same stats every time, etc., etc. Various changes were made. The Taken King comes out a long time later. Presumably by this point, gameplay is already well into the design phase. Well into design already by this point. I'm struggling to remember exactly when the Taken King came out. If I remember correctly, that was year 2? Or was that year 3? Whatever. So year 2 Destiny, I think, was the Taken King. So imagine the gameplay designers who have been working so feverishly to create a better game are now being told by Bungie executives, hey, holy shit, stop everything. Suddenly this thing with Taken King is working. So now this gameplay that is already designed is being looked over. Some things are being changed. They think, okay, this can go. I can get rid of that. We can add this in. This can't change at all, so I guess we're fucked there. I guess we'll shoehorn this mechanic in here. And all the while, the entire Bungie staff is... sorry if it's sounding a little messy coming out. I've explained my idea on this a couple of times, but obviously it's a wee bit hard to focus on doing... It's hard for me to play games and talk at the same time, sorry. But, so... Destiny 1's development did not hugely impact Destiny 2's development, because when Destiny 1 was starting to do a turnaround, Destiny 2 was already well into its development. So they start doing all these turnarounds because the Taken King was well celebrated as a great overhaul. It fixed a whole lot of issues, and what was probably thought of as band-aids by the main development team suddenly made a great game to most people. So... Destiny 2's development shifts, blah, blah, blah. Destiny 2 is about to come out, and they're talking about all the things they want to change, but they're being really focused on a few core ideas and really avoiding a lot of the more controversial changes, such as the stat change, such as the Crucibles suddenly not having versus mode and all this other shit. Being reduced to 4v4 only and all this other crap, and they were really quiet on that. They mentioned it a couple of times, but for the most part they were talking about like guided games and how great of an idea it is, and blah blah blah. We're going to introduce 3 new classes and all this other crap, and we're going to rework the classes that are already there. And so in the moments leading up to the game's release, Rise of Iron is complete. Now the whole team can work on Destiny 2, so all the guys that were working on Rise of Iron are now working on Destiny 2. They're no longer designing DLC, so they can just pump out the last bits of Destiny 2, call it a day. I'm going to do some patrols while I talk about this.
If we want to keep hold of the EDC, we have to focus on survival first, and that means supplies. See if you can get the bad guys to share some of theirs.
So, Destiny 2 releases. The first reactions of Destiny 2 were very good compared to Year 1 Destiny 1. A lot of people, when I was talking to them about the game, myself included, thought, wow, they really did work on a lot of great stuff for this game. They have a whole bunch of brand new exploration areas that we've never seen before. They have the revamped public event system, which is so much better than the old one. Like, thank you for that, Bungie. That was just well designed. I really enjoyed that. So, they had these things that they did right, but at the same time, they regressed a lot on the endgame aspect, or the... I don't want to say casual, because I wouldn't say that RNG-based gameplay or grinding is something, inherently enjoyed by only hardcore gamers. But I will say that the game was made significantly more accessible, which is starting to become a dirty word because people are interpreting that as easy, too easy. And I'm going to turn down the volume just a little bit more. It might be too loud. So Destiny 2 comes out. Its initial reaction is, wow, this game is great. Opinion rapidly degrades as people get further into the game. And some of their criticisms are valid. Some of them I don't think so. A lot of people are saying, well, this game regressed in every conceivable way. And I'm just like, nah, not really true. They've actually made a lot of improvements to the game. And they've just taken a step back in a lot of others. Because a lot of the things that they could have implemented that made the Taken King era so great didn't exist when Destiny 2 started. And that's that's something I don't think a lot of people understand. Destiny 2 was well into development when the Taken King came out. Am I excusing their decisions? Yeah, kind of. In this scenario, yeah, I would say that that's a reasonable excuse. The lessons that they learned did not fucking happen yet. So a lot of the game was being worked on with the assumption that their previous attempt at the game, Destiny 1, Year 1, plus Outer Worlds, plus Dark Below, was not working. And was not the game people wanted. Destiny 2 comes out. Everybody liked the Taken King for the most part. Obviously, not everybody's going to like it, but for the most part, it was really well liked by most of the Destiny community. People had a lot of high hopes going into this game. So the devs, I just realized I might be talking on proximity chat. That'd be embarrassing. Ugh, I've been literally rambling about this game. Is it push to talk? Okay, thank God. I don't want to just be rambling on about this shit while people are having to listen to me while they're trying to play the game. So when the good things in Destiny 1 did happen, and they had to probably do a 180 on a couple of things, that is why Destiny 2 has come off as so mediocre. Now, the only thing I could say was a serious cock-up, honestly, was the raid for Destiny 2. That, I will not excuse that. Vault of Glass was out a month after Destiny released.
All the things, and you still have all your limbs. I call that a success.
Destiny 1... Lost my train of thought. Give me a second. Let me just dance here while I think. That's not the dance key. Okay, that'll work. Completely lost my train of thought. Wow, the raid. That's right. Okay, so the raid is the only thing I will say is really inexcusable, among a couple other things like the Exo Stranger storyline, which not only went nowhere, but we were told was concluded. Oh, we thought that the story was, well concluded. It's like, no. You introduced this possibly interesting character and then instantly fucking discarded her after she did virtually nothing for the plot, besides just be there for a couple of choice scenes, along with one of the most horrendous lines of dialogue I've ever heard in my entire life. So, for the most part, I think they can be excused for a lot of their mistakes, but I think, which is why I think Destiny 3 will be so much better than Destiny 2 and better than Destiny 1, because they have had the time to look at it. If you the moment Destiny 2 was done, went gold, they probably started work very soon after that on Destiny 3, while a small team was devoted to continue working on the DLC, which is why whatever it is, Crisis of Orion or whatever it's called was it Orion? Crisis of Orion? I don't remember. I'm not really paying too much attention to Destiny at the moment, just because I don't personally like Destiny 2 all that much myself. But yeah, people don't understand what exactly the team is, their pace and the timing with all of their decisions has led to Destiny 2 inevitably being worse than Destiny 1, just because they didn't have time to implement all of the things that they learned from the first game. Because the alternative is putting out an unfinished game, and don't fucking bullshit me by telling me that this game is unfinished. It's not. Get the hell out of here with that. And don't even start by saying that they have all kinds of fucking missing content and shit. For the most part, this is a fully featured video game. I have enjoyed the game. I put 120 hours when it fucking came out, alright? It's not that bad. It's not so bad that it's definitely not unfinished. You want unfinished, you need to take a look at what used to be Steam Greenlight. and play a few actually unfinished games and come back to me and tell me that fucking Destiny 2 is unfinished. That's a little bit of a rant there. I really dislike the shit out of people who say that, well, unfinished game, basically unplayable. All the things that made the first game good are gone. It's like, no, not really. Well, kind of, for the end game. So we have a compromised end game. The raid sucks, even though the Vault of Glass came out well inside of Destiny 2's development period. They did not carry the philosophy that into the rest of the raids that made Destiny 2, or that made the Vault of Glass so much fun to play. They took a different approach with it and demanded a whole lot of perfection from every single member of the team, which sounds good on paper, like a lot of Destiny 2 did, implemented poorly, like a lot of Destiny 2 was. So I think that's why. That to me is a rational explanation for why Destiny 2 seemed so underwhelming, seemed devoid of content, even though it really wasn't, had lots of new stuff to see and do. And why the game doesn't feature a lot of truly new mechanics. They don't have time. Simple as that. And it's not really the devs' fault. I wouldn't blame the designer or the programmer or anything like that. This is the fucking Bungie execs making this call, because people are pretty quick to blame Activision for this shit with fucking silver and the XP scaling and all that crap. But guess what? Bungie still owns Destiny, and Bungie is not owned by Activision. They did not buy out Bungie. They publish for Bungie. That is it. So I would be willing to bet that a lot of the decisions that are being made are not being made by Activision right now. They're being encouraged by Activision, and the people making the final decisions are the Bungie execs, whoever's in charge now, which I think there was a change of hands on a lot of Bungie's upper staff, in the last several years leading up to Destiny 1's release. So that's my kind of rant on Bungie and Destiny 2 in general. I think Destiny 2 is an okay game. I think it's pretty fun. It's on PC, huge plus. It plays great. I genuinely don't even pick up the console version anymore, although I still will, because most of my clan is on PS4. And I still have a good character on PS4, so I won't be going into the DLC underprepared, even though the DLC will almost certainly disappoint literally everybody. So yeah, like you're putting out a game every couple of years, plus developing the DLC for the previous game. And while you're developing the DLC and learning all these things, you're figuring out you cannot implement them in your currently developing game because you don't have the time to implement them, because you've already settled on a bunch of the features. And you really will put out an unfinished game if you try to emphasize, or if you try to redesign a bunch of things too often. So you have to prioritize, like, which things need changing most. Which things can I implement that are the quickest that we think people are going to like based on this new data, etc. So, yeah, blame Bungie, but don't blame the devs, man. That ain't right, dude. Like, can you imagine what it's like over there? Maybe I could be wrong. Maybe it's not crunch time 24/7 at that studio, but based on their schedule and what's demanded of them, it wouldn't surprise me if they were in crunch time all the time, constantly busting their ass trying to get this shit done. People want to say that, the Bungie devs are the people that are, fucking scum, and I cannot agree with you, and I will fight that point and make those posts in the forums and counter people's arguments, tell them that they're being just toxic assholes for no reason. And I'll do it in a toxic tone of voice because fuck you, you're being a dick. You can't be a dick to somebody, they be a dick back, and then you say, oh, why are you being a dick now? It's like, because you were being a fucking cocksucker in the first place. What do you think was going to happen? You think if you're being a blatant asshole and misunderstanding a situation and taking no effort to analyze what's going on, that people are just going to, like, fucking baby you? How have I never... Oh, wait, no, I found that on console. I was about to say, how have I never found this? I think I found that one on console, though. That's not a difficult one to find. I have tried to avoid using the map to find these. But, yeah, like... I'm looking for... I'll stop rambling about that. Go into my opinion about the Curse of Osiris. Not Crisis of Orion. There we go. But I'm not even a Bungie fan anymore, apparently. So, Curse of Osiris. Sorry, the brain fart's probably due to me playing the game. Based on what I've seen so far, I think this game is going to take a very similar route to the first Destiny, in that the first 2 DLCs for this game are probably going to be fucking garbage. They're actually following a very similar development path where they release a game that is initially, or at least eventually, criticized as being mediocre, and the first 2 DLCs, because they don't have a lot of time to build on an overhaul and correct all of the issues that they want to correct in one go, a la Taken King, so they got to put out a couple of DLCs to at least keep people happy with new content, and that's what Curse of Osiris is going to be, I think. I don't think it's going to be... I don't think it's going to contain the fixes that people want them to fix. And with all this recent shit about XP scaling and then doubling the XP without telling their fans, like, it's not looking good. This is the kind of thing you don't want. It's a nightmare scenario, because they got caught for this twice right after the EA debacle, and people are really just chomping at the bit to fuck developers up at this point. Not that they haven't always been, but now is particularly bad. I think the Curse of Osiris is going to hurt the player base. I think it's really going to cause even more people who may even be Destiny fans to drop the game until, word hits of some sort of overhaul, because I seriously doubt all of these things are going to be addressed in the first DLC, just like Destiny 1. I don't know. Some of you guys started after Taken King, which makes sense. A lot of people started after Taken King because word of mouth got around the game and totally done a 180 and wasn't total shit to play anymore. And then, of course, Rise of Iron. Some people came back for Rise of Iron because they wanted to have or they came back prior to Destiny 2, I should say, because they wanted to play the game before Destiny 2 released. So, and it sucks because a lot of these new fans of Destiny 2 have just joined, so they weren't around. They weren't around when the first 2 DLCs dropped for Destiny 1, and people were starting to say this game is dead because there was a really nasty drop-off of player base about that time. There were not a lot of people playing. I wasn't even interested in playing a whole lot at the time either. I didn't play the Taken King until I got back from deployment, so... Okay. Alright, well done. Surprised nobody's caught that. Has anybody in Bungie caught that? I have a fucking space bike. I could be running around. How do I... It's been so long since I played, I have straight up forgotten some shit. I'm all about... Oh, and the XP scaling thing. I'll throw my opinion of that out too. So, I sort of understand where they're trying to come from a business perspective. Obviously, I'm not going to play devil's advocate here. I get it. I get why they're doing it, and I don't agree with what they're doing. I think that it was a huge mistake. Huge fucking mistake to leave this system in and expect that nobody was going to pick up on it, and that it wasn't going to piss people off. That is what really gets me about these kinds of decisions, because you see all this other shit happening out there. You've got all these other publishers and developers that are making these kind of boneheaded fucking errors. How do you get off this thing? Oh, there we go. Okay. Making all these boneheaded errors and doing things that are just pissing off their fucking player base. How do you not pay attention to that? How do you miss that? You got to be able to pick up on the pattern at some point that if you resort to these kind of manipulative practices and you get caught, people are going to straight up think you're a scumbag now, your whole company. Even if it is a little unfair to blame the whole company, including the devs, for this.
Looks like the Fallen are bringing in a glimmer drill.
I'll get a public event in while I'm at it. Fuck it. Okay. There we go. Bring your shit.
fighting for?
Shut them down.
If I had to say one thing about playing this game on PC, oh god, we killed that fast. Moving around and shooting things, so much nicer. You can perform so many more complex maneuvers this way. It's awesome. Really is awesome. Did we... Oh, there he is. Okay. Oh, dusted. Okay.
They're heading to another site.
So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of... it's shameless is what it is. It's like you expected your fans to just not notice this was happening, and then when you were caught, you acted like the good guy for fucking changing it. That's something that every fucking publisher does, and it pisses people off every fucking time. No, the majority's probably not gonna really care. A lot of people still bought Battlefront 2, despite the fucking loot box shenanigans. So, yo, I get it. I get that you think you can get away with this shit, but it's gonna hurt you. And the people that you want to appeal to most, especially with an IP especially with a rocky IP like this isn't a perfect game. Even Destiny 1 The Taken King had its fair share of fucking problems. So you gotta hold on to that core fan base, and you're fucking with your core fan base. That's not a good idea. Yeah, you might get the broad appeal out, but like, why would you want that? You know, you're an executive of a game studio. You create living, breathing artwork. So it fucking kills me when you won't take a little fucking pride in the capabilities of your damn studio that you own, whoever that is. Did we get the pile? Yeah.
That's a pretty pile of glimmer. Hold them off while I transmit this.
Yeah, I'm not a don't get me wrong. I understand why they did what they did. I get it. They're greedy. They're shitheads. It makes sense from a business perspective, but you know what also makes sense from a business perspective? Maintaining a core fan base that can get those people back into the game when you start to rebuild it. Because that's the only reason The Taken King did so well, is because people fucking talked about it. They came back to the game after X amount of months because the core fan base was saying, hey, the shit got better. Everything is better now. The game doesn't suck anymore. Lo and fucking behold, everybody came back, and The Taken King ended up becoming a wonderful fucking thing. A lot of people really enjoyed it. I'm not gonna say everybody. A lot of people really enjoyed all the changes and thought this is well thought out. Bungie's actually paying attention. It really frustrates me. I used to be a huge Bungie fantard. Man, I grew up playing Halo, and I played the ARGs, like the fucking I Love Bees ARG, not the Guilty Spark ARG. What was that? Trying to remember what it's called. Adjutant Reflex, I think, was the name of the monitor. The name of the monitor from that. You know, it wouldn't be too off the mark to say I actually kind of grew up with Bungie and their games. So, you know, to see them, you know, walking down the same path every other fucking major publisher is doing right now, where they think, you know, we'll just fucking, it doesn't matter. The customer doesn't matter because we know that we'll still make more money from these microtransactions just by having them in the game. It doesn't matter if people like it. It doesn't matter if people complain. We don't care. We just want the money. That's the kind of shit that really pisses me off, especially with my previous attempt at getting a game studio together and trying to make a game and really thinking hard about how to make the players enjoy, like, have a good time, how to build an environment where players can have a good time by themselves and with a community. That is super important because that is good business sense. You know, you can use these tactics and make a quick buck, but how's it going to affect you in the long term, you know? Hopefully, now that people are starting to notice, and yeah, I know it's kind of rocky, the whole thing about government legislation getting involved, which I know is a big thing for some people. You know, people are kind of paranoid about that. They're like, you know, we don't want government interfering in our video games, but you know, if it has the overall positive effect of getting publishers and developers that are like those publishers to realize what the fuck they're about to get into, to see the consequences that can arise from pushing a fan base or even just gamers in general to the point where they're tired of your shit, because most of us are not fucking made of money. You know, it's a very small percentage of the gamer population that's paying for most of the fucking microtransaction revenue. So, you know, it really pisses the majority of fucking people off when you're putting out a game that takes 4,200 hours to unlock all the content or some crazy shit. Like, there is no game I have. If I combined all the games I have played that I played for over 100 hours, it would still not amount to 4,000 hours. I don't even think it would get 2,000 hours, because it takes a lot for me to really get invested in the game enough to play it for that much. Like 4,000 hours. Holy fucking shit. On a Star Wars, on a Battlefield skin, on a Battlefield reskin, basically, is what it is. Well, I guess technically I guess technically it was based on the original Battlefield series, because I think 1942 came out before Star Wars Battlefront 1 did, if I'm not mistaken. I'd have to look at it. Then I'll probably look it up and I'll be like, oh yeah, that's what happened then, and then I'll never mention it in a video. So I just figured I'd do this rant, run around with my Guardian a little bit. It's been a while since I played. I noticed I'm doing significantly better than when I first started playing this game, because I'd been playing console games for a long time, so I had gotten pretty shit at ye FPS and had kind of lost my touch. I have it back. As you can see, I'm destroying these aliens with utmost prejudice. They will be destroyed, all of them. I will kill them all in the name of the Traveler. What was that? Who was it that mentioned that? I was watching a YouTuber recently that was talking about the problems with the game's design, with Destiny 2's story design, I think. And I'm reiterating it because it's just popped up in my head now. I want to talk about it. The line that Traveler said, or not the Traveler, but the speaker says when he's like, I'm struggling right now. It's been so long since I played it. So I never said that, or I said that the Traveler spoke for me. I speak for the Traveler. I never said that it spoke to me. There we go. Okay. Something like that. That's pretty close. I'm pretty sure it's been a little bit. That's like the most interesting line in the game, and they never expound on it. I mean, yeah, the game has more. So it has a plot in that there's a story that can play out, a conflict story that plays out. It's very tropish. It doesn't have a lot of surprises, which is depressing because, let me tell you, another rant right now. Gaul looks like he is the kind of character that actually will end as a redemption character. And I actually found myself genuinely hoping that he would be redeemed, because he seems to be it almost looks like he's changing his mind a little bit, or reconsidering how he has approached things so far to take the Traveler's light. And then he descends just direct, like all thoughts go out of his head, his pride takes over, blah blah blah. It's supposed to be tragic, but it just comes out as cliche and predictable. I think it would have been less predictable if he had actually genuinely redeemed, and then we end up fighting like Council, like fighting the fucking Consul, who goes and steals the Traveler's light instead or some shit, and then Gaul like helps you fight him or some shit. That would have been actually kind of cool, especially since Gaul was put out as like the big time fucking the big bad general that's going to come and whoop all our asses, and he turns out he's going to be the one helping you in the end. That would have been cool, I think. I think Gaul came off as intelligent and measured. Yes, aggressive and misguided, but he seemed contemplative. He seemed to have a basis of honor, and that was what was interfering with his whole kill all the humans and take the Traveler's light for yourself, forcibly rip it from the Traveler. So yeah, I think I think a lot of things were missed opportunity. I could go on fucking on about all the things I wish they could have done, but again, as far as the base design of the game, the conclusion to take away with this is, remember, Destiny 2's development started quite a while before the Taken King came out. And a lot of the lessons that they learned from the Taken King probably did not make it into Destiny 2. And may come out in a future update. It probably won't be Curse of Osiris. This is more or less a band-aid similar to the Dark Below House of Wolves. So, consider that, take that into your arguments with people. Or let it be the thing that settles the argument and says, okay, well, we'll just continue to take this wait-and-see approach if you're still a fan of Bungie, or if you're still a fan of Destiny in general, and you want to see it succeed, then stick around, and if you just don't care anymore, then fucking leave it. Nobody said you had to stick around and fucking watch this game go under, man. Probably going to go back and play Destiny 1, honestly. If I'm going to stop playing Destiny 2, I'd like to at least go back and play Destiny 1 so I have a nice taste in my mouth at the end of it. That was kind of a weird way to put that. Anyway, that's enough of this rant. This is probably a pretty long video. Like and subscribe, blah, blah, blah. Do whatever you feel like doing. I'm just going to keep making shit at random and without regard for quality, because that's what I do. So, this has been another episode of whatever. I don't even really call it Derpy Does anymore. I should call it something new. Fuck it. Let's rebrand. Let's do it. I'll just do that after every video. It'll be called something different. Nobody will be able to keep up. Or I'll make a new channel. Every single channel I have will have only one video in it. Like, good luck. Technically, if I have like 10,000 channels and each one only has one video after like 10 years of making videos, and each of them has like 10 subscribers, 100,000 subscribers right there. Technically, it's not on one account, but it's it's. That's a terrible idea. I'm not gonna do that. No. That's not like, even as a joke, that just is objectively a stupid thing to say. This is all falling apart very horribly. I'm gonna stop playing this game because I'm gonna get distracted and ramble again. So I hope you enjoyed my fucking rant about video games. I'll see you later.